What up, everybody? YouTube Live right now is Friday, Friday the 13th, November 13th. Ooh, spooky. Friday the 13th. And I just watched the latest episode, the new episode of The Mandalorian. It's season 2, episode 3, titled The Heiress. And it's directed by Ron Howard's daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard. Remember, she directed the one episode from previous season where the Mandalorian was helping these villagers. Anyway, and she incorporated some Jurassic Park reference in that episode. Or on that episode. That was pretty cool. So anyway, she's back, and I just want to say, let's start with the thing on my note here. I want to talk about real quick regarding Razor Crest, the Mando's ship. Damn, that thing reminds me of my old Honda Civic. I used to own this 1994 Honda Civic. I bought it in the year 2000 something. I forgot what exactly. It's 2005. I don't want to say. So it's an old piece of junk. But I adored it. Even though it was like one of those cars that's just so old, and you have an affinity for it, but at the same time it frustrates you because it's not always reliable. You gotta, sometimes it gets overheated, and sometimes it just breaks down. You have to frequently fix it or get it to the auto shop, but it's your car. That's what Razor Crest reminds me of. I wouldn't go so far as calling it, a crappy, crappy piece of transportation, but it's not sleek. Obviously, it's not new. It's used, and it reminds you of all the cars that the first cars that you've ever had. Not the new one, not the brand new one. So. Razor Crest had this really rough landing on today's episode, and it had to be like taken out of the water, and even by the end of the episode, it was still a mess. It was still a mess. God, that reminded me of my Honda Civic, man. That's just clunky, clunky. Frog Lady and Frogman reunited. That was sweet. Romantic moment right there. I'm still baffled. I mentioned to you last week. Still baffled that she is not as angry as she should be. About her eggs getting eaten by Baby Yoda. I mean, even the husband. It's like, they're just so happy that they see each other, that they, that they have their eggs. They don't even bother to count them. But, a lot of them are gone. In Baby Yoda's belly now. It's just like they're so oblivious. God bless them. So happy couple. A lot of cameos on today's episode. If you noticed. For those of us WWE fan, Sasha Banks showed up. That was pretty cool. She only had, I think, a couple of lines. Most of the leadership is done by, of course, Katie Sackhoff. She showed up into this episode. Katie Sackhoff, of course, was part of the cast of Battlestar Galactica. And that Riddick movie. So she is no stranger to science fiction or sci-fi world such as this one. By the way, Sasha Banks is a fantastic wrestler. If you haven't seen her moves, she's very athletic. She's badass. But she's not my favorite female WWE star. That spot is still, or that spot still belongs to Stacy Keibler. I love Stacy Keibler. Stacy Keibler did not have the best moves. She was not a natural wrestler. She was more of a cheerleader that turned into a WWE diva and then did dabble in wrestling. But God, she's so hot, man. Stacy Keibler is my favorite female WWE star to this day. But my respect to Sasha Banks and everybody in her profession. Who else? Who else shows up? Titus, I believe his name is Titus Welliver. He's the star of Amazon Prime Video series Bosch. He showed up in this episode, and that's pretty cool. It seems that the Mandalorian is always like previous season, it was the comedian Billy Berg, right? And so it's like a game of trying to figure out, who made a cameo in this one, latest one. Whereas Star Trek Discovery, cameo appearances are very rare, and so when they do show up, they're very noticeable. Like yesterday when David Cronenberg appeared, I was like, "Whoa, David Cronenberg! What the heck?" It seems that from these past 3 episodes of this new season so far, and I think you would agree with me that Mando is being pulled in many directions. Now, in previous seasons, so many episodes have him try to find jobs. He's looking for gigs. He's looking for like, hey, can I, just random jobs along the way. He would do it for the coins, however you want to call it. And so it was his choosing. It was his own option. It was like his own will. I wanted to get some gigs. I need resources. Whereas in these past 3 episodes, from the beginning of the season 2, and then last week, and then this week, it's not his choosing. It seems like, like he just wants to find his own kind, but then he gets his other thing added to him. Like, I gotta get the frog lady, and then I gotta help these guys on these episodes, and then I think the first episode was something else as well. So I was like, he has a mission. Oh yeah, the first episode was like, I gotta help this town. That the marshal was heading. It's like, God, I just want to get to the other Mandos. So, but he's being pulled in many directions. He's like, his services are needed along the way. It's not his choosing. It's not like he came to the marshal in the first episode. Hey, do you have a job for me? It's nothing like that. So, and by the way, episode 3 today, I gotta say, I'm so glad that the runtime was only 30 minutes. I was like, because right now it's already past midnight. It's already past 1 o'clock here in California. I'm already sleepy, man. If you always catch me like being so drowsy doing this review of The Mandalorian every Friday, it's because over here, they air at midnight, and I'm like, my body clock, man, it's all messed up. Whereas Star Trek Discovery, I think, airs around about 11 p.m., so not too bad. But the first episode was 1 hour long with the marshal, and then last week was 43 minutes. And then today's 33 minutes, so it's getting better. Omega scores here. How long till episode 3 comes out? Episode 3 comes out today. So I'm not sure where you are right now in the world. But if you have Disney Plus subscription, you should be able to already watch the episode 3 right now, available on Disney Plus. the gang who attacked Mando and the guys and the pirates, um, they look peculiar, right? They look like Davy Jones with their squid face. New Zealand Omega Cursed. Okay, cool, yeah. So I'm not sure what time is it over there, but it always airs here around midnight every Friday here in America. So yeah, overall, it's another episode where Mando gets pulled in a direction, and this time it's this. But at least in this episode, or on this episode, he does get some information that would lead him to the Jedi. So even though the story doesn't really progress per se, but he has a lead. He has a lead. Whereas in previous episodes, he didn't have a lead, or he just not substantive of a lead. Right now it's like, oh, okay, I know where I'm going now. So, which is cool. Before I go, I just want to talk about this controversy with you guys. I wanna, if you guys can chime in, maybe in the comment section. Apparently, last week when Baby Yoda ate all those eggs, I was like really disturbed by it. I was taken aback by it, but at the same time, I realized that Baby Yoda eats frogs, right? So that's his meal. So I mean, it makes sense. It's totally understandable why he would want to eat those eggs. But apparently, it was a big deal on the internet. After the episode aired last week, a lot of fans were like, "Oh my God, Baby Yoda committed genocide! Like he killed like those living things. It's like, how dare Baby Yoda, ate those eggs? Those are with babies in them." So a lot of fans are like, I think were split about that. Some are like, oh, that's a little bit too much. They crossed the line there, man. Come on, what's up with that? It's not funny. I'm on the camp I'm on the camp that thinks it's funny. I was like, that is hilarious. I mean, it's still disturbing, but come on. It's just a show. It's just a character. Yes, the frog lady should have been angrier. I would have been angry if I were her. But as you could see on this episode today, I mean, the frog lady and the frog man, they're just blissful and happy. They didn't even bother to count the eggs. It's like, obviously they're not as many as when they started off. But so apparently that's a controversy. It's like people are like, oh, they've gone too far, the writers, with the joke of Baby Yoda being hungry all the time. Like, can we actually give Baby Yoda a pass? Can we give him an excuse? Like, oh, Baby Yoda doesn't know any better. He's a baby. He's always hungry. Like you can't judge him. Like, and some people are like, no, you can't give him a pass. That's not right what he did. So I gotta, I wanna make my decision here, and I say, hey, chill the F out, man. It's just a freaking show. I think if you get outraged about, Baby Yoda eating eggs, then maybe, I don't know, maybe you've taken some things way too seriously, and you're not directing your outrage in an appropriate, way. There are actual substantive things out there that we should be outraged about, and this is not one of them. Omega says it's 10:45 p.m. I think I came out at like 2 or 3 a.m. just seeing if you know it. Thanks, have a great day. Okay, well, yeah, I don't know what time it comes out, the episode there every Friday in New Zealand, but over here it's every midnight, and it's on Disney Plus. So just be patient. I'm sure it'll pop up there on your Disney Plus subscription. It's a great episode. It's very action packed. Today's episode is very, very action packed, which is exciting and entertaining. And we get to see Mando being badass again, as he always is. So yeah, I have yet. I think I have yet to come across an episode of the Mandalorian where I give it a negative criticism. You know what I'm saying? If you notice, every week my talk about the Mandalorian episode always ends with like, that was another awesome episode, hey guys. That was another exciting episode. So grand. And that's I think that's how it's gonna be for the foreseeable future. It's gonna just end up being positive review every Friday. But yeah, Sasha Banks, great cameos. Katie Sackhoff, Titus Welliver, but no offense to Sasha Banks, but my favorite, the female WWE star, remains the hottie Stacy Keibler. Stacy Keibler. All right, it's almost 2 a.m. here. Have a good night, everybody. Subscribe. Press that like button and ring that bell. If you want to watch. Omega says the thing I found about is, let's see here. I think at the broadcast. Okay, the thing I found about it is that every episode makes you wanna watch the next one. I think you meant to say you wanna watch the next one, right? It doesn't mean no. But yeah, I got you. So thank you, Omega, for chatting with me this early in the morning from New Zealand. I don't know what time it is over there, but appreciate you tuning in. All right, subscribe. I'm gonna go to bed now. Good night, everybody. Let's rock this.